of Mystery Boosters.
Welcome, fellow travelers, to another episode of Tales of Mystery Boosters. This is a 24-part series where I open a booster from the Mystery Booster box. If I can get the box open, there we go. And I talk about each card, and we'll go from there. Should be fun. Here we go. Jumping right on in, this is part 3. If you've seen part 1 or 2, give it a like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what cards you like from these packs and what you plan to do with a card like that. Good strategies, good combos that you found. I'd love to hear from you, so let me know. Here we go. Starting things off right off the bat, we start with white. It is Knight of Old Benaglio. It is a 3/3 for 3 white, so 5 total, and it has a suspend cost of 1 white, and it suspends for 5. So 5 turns later, it'll cast this. You only have to spend 1 white, so it's a good first turn kind of drop. Get things started, which is kind of neat. Let's see here. When Knight of Old Benaglio enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So if you're drop this guy out in 5 turns, hopefully you have a board state. So when it comes out, it will have haste, and it's going to make all of your guys a little bit bigger for 1 big attack. Now this is kind of telegraphing what you're planning on doing, so you know that's where the whole strategies and gameplay comes in. Very neat card. I really do like it. And this one is a copy from the Horizons, the Modern Horizons set. Very cool. The next white card is Angel of Renewal. Angel of Renewal is 5 and a white for an Angel Ally 4/4 flyer. And when it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. Not too bad. Also a good kind of going wide strategy, which I think is what they've kind of planned for with this color combination. White's gonna go wide. It's gonna make its tokens. We're gonna move directly on to blue. Blue, we start off with Benthic Giant. Benthic Giant, which is a reprint from, well, these are all reprints, but this is from Battle Bond. It is 5 and a blue for a giant. It is a 4/5 with hexproof. Now, a lot of people don't like hexproof because it kind of prevents some interactions from being played. You can't target it, but it makes for a very powerful card, especially if you plan on Voltroning, putting things on top of it, attaching equipment to it, and then attacking in. Your opponents will only have to be able to block it or use a board wipe to get rid of it. And because of hexproof, I really do like the use of board wipes and having a lot of board wipes within your deck. It's very important, especially in a commander setting. You know, why use a scalpel when you can use a shovel? Alrighty, next up we have Claustrophobia. It is 1 blue for an aura enchantment, enchant creature. When Claustrophobia enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its control's untap step. It's a good way of kind of shutting down a big attacking creature. They also reprinted this different name but same type of thing, which was Charmed Sleep, which came out recently in the Eldraine set. A good removal package, especially if you're running with an enchantment type of sub-thing. Very cool. Moving on to black, we have Disowned Ancestor. Disowned Ancestor is a 0/4 for 1 black. It is a spirit warrior, and it has Outlast. So for 1 and a black, you can tap it and put a +1/+1 counter on it, do it as a sorcery. So if you're not attacking with it, you can tap it down. But then you can't block with it. So it's kind of trade-off. If you're running a lot of +1/+1 counter type of strategies, and you have the ability of moving +1/+1 counters, Outlast can be a very effective strategy, dropping a bunch of little guys, making a bunch of +1/+1 counters, and then dropping something like the frog lizard that attracts all the +1/+1 counters. That was from the more recent Ravnica return. This one hails all the way from Khans of Tarkir, which is a good set. Next up in black, we have Eternal Thirst. 1 and a black for an aura creature. Enchanted creature has lifelink, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. That's pretty nifty, especially if you're running +1/+1 counter strategies. You can mix this with a lot of point removal, so that way as you're attacking or as you're eliminating your opponent's creatures, your creature's getting bigger. It has lifelink, which is great, gets you some life back, especially if you're taking a lot of damage. The picture here has a person with wings, so it kind of gives me the impression that it gives flying, but it doesn't. It gives lifelink. Neat, though. Neat. Alrighty. Moving to red, we have, a big one. 4 red for a 4/4 flying haste dragon. Volcanic Dragon is its name. The art on this is fantastic. This is from M19. And a flying haste 4/4 for 6. Not bad. I might drop this in a Perforos Bronze-Blooded, so that way I can just drop it for 3, attack in. Or just drop it for 6 if I have the mana. I'd still have haste. Not too shabby. Not amazing, but if you're running dragons, it's a good way to go. The next red card is Insolent Neonate. Insolent Neonate is a vampire. For 1 red, it is a 1/1 with menace, which ain't bad. It's hard to block. It says discard a card, sacrifice Insolent Neonate to draw a card. So you can come in, you can swing with this a few times. Once they've got enough creatures to block with it, you can sacrifice it to draw yourself a card. Seems okay. It's a little pricey because you have to sacrifice it and discard a card. Hopefully it's a land card. And move on to drawing another card. Or you can slap a bunch of enchantments and equipment on this, and you got a Menacer that's going to be pretty strong. Another thing that's interesting with the newest mutate ability that's in the recent Ikoria set, a 1/1 for 1 with menace. It's a good way of starting things off. Slapping mutation onto this wouldn't be that bad. Moving to green now, we have Lead the Stampede. Lead the Stampede. We look at the top 5 cards of our library. This is for 2 and a green. It's a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of creature cards from among them and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Personally, I think this would actually be stronger if it was put in your graveyard instead of the bottom of your library, because then you can fit it into a lot of like Golgari or Dimir or even Sultai type of graveyard shenanigans. Would be really good. But you're getting a bunch of creatures into your hand, and green loves creatures, so this would be pretty nice. The picture is of a bow and arrow. I don't even know what this set is from. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. That's kind of neat. Lead the Stampede. The next green card hails from the Dominaria set. It is Adventurous Impulse. For 1 green, it's a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them. Put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Wow, so it's pretty much the same card, just a little bit cheaper. You don't get all the creatures. You just get 1 or a land. So those are all the multicolored cards. We're going to move directly into the multicolored card. I think last time I said it was colorless, but this is actually the multicolored card. This is Shipwreck Singer, and this is from, I believe it's the Conspiracy set. And it is a blue-black, so Dimir, for a 1/2 Siren. It has flying and some activated abilities. For 1 and a blue, target creature an opponent controls attacks this turn if able. Nice. For 1 and a black, tap it. Attacking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So potentially you could force something to attack and then make it smaller or even kill it. Very interesting. Very interesting. We're going to... I don't know if I'd run this. I might run this in my Spectre deck. Could be interesting, but nah, probably not. Our colorless card, it can be an artifact, it can be a land, it could be a card with Devoid. This one is an Eldrazi, so definitely. It is Artisan of Kozelek for 9 colorless, or 9 generic mana. It is a 10/9 Eldrazi. When you cast this spell, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Annihilator 2. This thing is dynamite. You do have to cast it, so cheating it in other ways might not necessarily be the best way of going. But you just return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. But Annihilator 2, man, this thing is crazy, crazy. Even if you were running this and say, well, it's not an artifact, so Purphoros the Bronze-Blooded wouldn't trick this into play, because that's got to be red or artifact. But still, Artisan of Kozelek, that's a monster of a card. Now, some people are speculating that the new Ikoria world is actually hinting at a return of Eldrazi, which could be cool. Now we're going to look back at one of the really old cards. This is from one of the old, it might be Rise of the Eldrazi or something like that. It is Brimstone Mage. This is 2 and a red for a creature human shaman. This has level up. This is kind of like the whole D&D kind of world. So for 3 and a red, you can add a level counter. And so it starts off as a 2/2. If you have 1 or 2 levels on it, it taps for 1 damage, like a Prodigal Sorcerer or a Prodigal Pyromancer. And it becomes a 2/3. With 3 levels or more, it taps and deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and is a 2/4. This is pretty nifty. This would be also a really neat card to, mutate on top of. I've been thinking a lot about this mutate mechanic, and I want to do more with it. So that's pretty neat. Next up, we've got our rare. Our rare is Supreme Verdict. It is 1 white, white, blue, 4 mana total for sorcery. It can't be countered and destroy all creatures. Awesome board wipe. This will definitely go into any Azorius deck. I do have a bounce creature deck with Chulane that I've got Persistent Petitioners in. This might be interesting to put into it. This might also work really well in a Sphinx deck. So, yep. I like that. Very good. And then, of course, the foil. The foil is another rare going all the way back to 8th edition. It is called Fungusaur. It is 3 and a green for a Fungusaur creature. When Fungusaur is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it is a 2/2. So if you are using that red guy to do 1 point of damage, you can keep pumping this up and making your Fungusaur bigger. That is a pretty foil. Well, that's it. That is part 3 of our 24-part series. If you liked what you saw, remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below as to if you purchased any of these mystery boosters. Let me know what awesome cards that you've got. So far, we've gotten some really neat ones. Elish Norn, a couple of legendary dragons. What would you hope to see coming from a mystery booster? Let us know down below, and we'll see you next time.